Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Janelle's off tonight. A random rock slide on Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park has killed a 14-year-old girl. That teen, visiting with family from Utah, died last night after the falling rocks hit the vehicle she was a passenger in. Park spokeswoman Lauren Alley says the incident happened around 7 Monday evening near the East Tunnel on Going to the Sun Road. The rocks hit the top of the vehicle and shattered the rear windshield, fatally injuring the girl and also injuring her parents and 2 other children who were inside the vehicle. Now, this video is from the park of the East Tunnel, but it's not from yesterday's incident. The 2 adults suffered significant bruises, while the other 2 children in the vehicle suffered minor injuries, we're told. Ellie says that the rocks that hit that vehicle were between fist-sized and a foot in diameter. The rocks fell from an unknown height from the mountains above the Going to the Sun Road. That road was closed at the East Tunnel for approximately 3 hours while crews cleared the rocks and a tow truck removed the vehicle. Well, many people still cleaning up from Sunday night's powerful and dangerous storm that brought hail, high winds, and heavy rain to parts of Yellowstone County. A new high-speed emergency mass notification service launched by Yellowstone County, Code Red, is supposed to help inform people of weather warnings, but did it work correctly? MTN's Zoe Zandora finds out.
Test call from the Code Red system confirming your telephone number was entered through the community notification enrollment page.
Code Red, a service system sending phone calls, text messages, emails, and social media posts to alert residents of missing persons, natural disasters, and other threats.
I have found the easiest way to do it is to text the word Yellowstone to 99411 and just follow the instructions.
Many have downloaded this app but aren't sure if it's working correctly. Casey Williams, the Department of Emergency Services coordinator, says if you have the app downloaded and you aren't registered for weather alerts, you will not receive them.
If they did register their phone number but they've never registered for the alerts, then it's not going to send you an alert because you haven't told it to please send you an alert. Or, as I found with some people in the southern part of the city or other parts of the county, they registered for it, but they were not in the warned area.
Williams says there's a very small amount of people who are registered in Yellowstone County. He says just a little over 200 people have signed up for the weather alerts. Now, during Sunday's storm, about 197 of those who have signed up for alerts did receive them.
The storm we had Sunday night, if you were not in the polygon that the National Weather Service drew on their map, not the one that shows up on television, the one that they drew when they send the message out, you're not going to be included in that message.
So what does it take and who can send out these alerts?
If law enforcement, fire, emergency services contacts and says we need to evacuate or we need to notify people, then we can say, where do you want to notify? Who do you want evacuated? And it only takes us about 1 minute.
Williams says he wants everyone to register for the alerts. In Billings, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
And again, the easiest way, Williams told Zoe, to register is to text the word Yellowstone to 99411. Well, the number of claims for both home and auto from that storm is skyrocketing. In a report from State Farm Insurance, more than 1,600 auto claims have been reported already, and 800 homeowner claims have come in as of this morning. Now, these numbers exceed all total hail claims filed in 2018. Also in 2018, Montana ranked number 21 in the U.S. for hail damage. The former Miles City trainer who admitted sexually assaulting dozens of students now also pleading guilty to child pornography charges. James Jensen appeared before a district court judge today and presented a change of plea as part of an agreement with prosecutors. Jensen originally faced 10 charges of child porn possession, but the deal dropped 8 of those. Each charge carries up to 10 years in prison, and those would stack on top of a 12-year prison sentence handed down last month for coercion and enticement of minors into sex acts. He'll spend that first sentence in Minnesota at a federal medical center. Jensen will appear in court for sentencing on the child porn charges later this month. The civil suit filed by victims is ongoing. An early morning house fire in the Heights leaving behind $350,000 in damages. Smoke and flames shot out from the roof of that home on Lake Elmo Drive just before 3:30 this morning. Now, the fire started in an attached garage for unknown reasons, but quickly spread to the home and through the roof. A camper trailer parked in front of that garage suffered major fire damage as well. Everyone was able to get out of the home safely, including a number of pets. Northwestern Energy was also on the scene to help firefighters work around some downed power lines. Montana's Public Service Commission has lost a trio of court decisions on lawsuits saying it illegally undermined proposed wind and solar power projects in Montana. Now 2 of those lawsuits, and maybe the third, are going to the Montana Supreme Court. MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison gives us a closer look at these cases and what's at stake.
The lawsuits before the state Supreme Court involve small independent solar power projects who want to sell their output to the state's dominant electric utility, Northwestern Energy. A state judge this year said the PSC ignored the law that requires it to set a reasonable rate and contract terms for these projects when they've been unable to agree with Northwestern. Both the PSC and Northwestern have appealed the rulings to the Supreme Court, sparking criticism from those who won the suits.
Northwestern Energy is incredibly hostile to renewable energy. It just simply doesn't want to engage in the law, the legal requirements to invest in renewable resources like other utilities are doing cost effectively across the country right now. And the PSC is doing the bidding of Northwestern Energy.
Northwestern says the judge shouldn't be setting rates for these projects and that it's up to the PSC. A lawyer for the proposed Montana Sun project near Billings says the PSC keeps finding excuses not to approve favorable terms for the projects.
I don't know what it is to do at this point to hit that sweet spot with the commission where they're going to say, well, that's exactly what we need. But I suspect what they want is more fossil-fueled resources. And I just think that history is not in favor of that. I think that they're on the wrong side of history.
Commissioners, however, insist they are protecting consumers by setting rates not above the current market for power that could be purchased elsewhere.
Frankly, it was a matter of simply abiding by the law. You know, both Montana and federal law say that while on the one hand we have to encourage the development of renewables, we have to do it in a way that holds the ratepayer harmless with regard to costs.
But developers say the price they deserve and are asking for is a bargain for them and consumers. In the rate ordered by the court ruling, the Billings solar project would charge about $40 per megawatt hour, compared to nearly $60 or more for Northwestern's own resources at Colstrip and hydroelectric dams. Uda, the lawyer for Montana Sun, says it makes no sense, legal or otherwise, for the PSC to undercut these renewable projects.
We can get it at a cheap price, and it's going to promote rural economic development, which parts of the state badly need. I believe people want it here, and the only question is, why would you be against this?
As you can see, not a lot of agreement here on what the path forward should be for local renewable power projects in Montana. So it's down to the Montana Supreme Court to provide some guidance. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
A third lawsuit on small local wind power projects has not yet been appealed to the Supreme Court. There is more news from across our state on the MTN 9 o'clock news. An eco-friendly Kalispell company leases electric cars so people can see if they fit into their lifestyles. We're going to show you some of the benefits of driving electric tonight at 9 on the CW. But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 news, toxic algae blooms claiming the lives of dogs across the country. We'll fill you in on that. And later in sports, Troy Anderson tells us why he chose to move from all-conference quarterback to linebacker at MSU.
And coming up in weather, looks like our forecast is a little kinder and gentler today, but we could see some more showers moving in sometime tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that coming up in a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.